Well, I'd say we need to get started this morning here. Let's start out with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Say a word of prayer then. Well, Lord, we thank you for this another day of life. We thank you for the many things that we have that we never stop to think about. Our Father, we have given us responsibility in this job that we have. And we pray that we would use it wisely. And whatever we do will be to help somebody else. Guide us and direct us in everything that we do. We ask it in Christ's name. Amen. Amen.
It's down on the other side.
That's my seat. I believe this
That knob right there.
Yeah.
May need to sit down and raise it.
I believe this is your church.
Yeah, I had her marked down.
Let me sit underneath this one.
I thought it was like the barber's chair, but no.
Pull it that and pull the chair up with it.
It's all right. Go ahead, Randy.
Okay.
I'll sit like I am.
Denzel Potter. Here. John Brown.
Here.
Stanley Rigsby. Here. Brandon Evans. Not here. Anthony Likens.
Here.
Stanley Franklin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Has the minutes been faxed to the ahead of time?
They were mailed, right?
You got them already?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Anthony made it, John saying all in favor?
I actually think I gave them to you all at that last special meeting.
Okay. Irene, are you gonna?
You all know it, call me.
Okay, all right. Anything in there you want to point out to us?
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to interject that right now before we go to the treasurer's court? I think it'd be the proper time. Miles, in the last month's regular meeting, they had to open up a meeting of the Public Properties Corporation. And in the haste of adjournment, or forgot to adjourn before they left. Can we make a motion to amend the meetings from the regular?
Who's all on that?
It's the magistrates.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can just close that now.
Make a motion to, we forgot to close the PC.
Okay.
You gonna make that
I'll
motion?
make a motion. to
Anthony made the
close.
motion that we close that meeting we had last week. Stanley, did you say? All those in favor?
Now we're good. Okay.
Okay, Robin's not with us tonight. They give us a wellness center report. Lindsay, you gonna start yours?
Financial statement that I have on top, that is the reconciled for the entire year. The $432,015.85 in general fund, what we have there, that's our carryover amount. The road has $533,621.41. Joe has $15,094.17. LGEA has $12,704.11. Forestry has $62.91. And Special Projects has $81,013.74. I have included an appropriation condition report for the entire year, revenue condition report. I also included a copy of the budget transfer journal for the entire year. We'll get approval on that on my year-end first. I need action on that, the year-end whole shebang.
So to approve the financial reports for the year end,
For the
fiscal year
year end.
16-17.
I'll make that motion.
Stanley made it, Stanley second, all in favor?
I included a budget transfer journal. This is all the budget transfers for the entire year, from 7/1/16 to 6/30/17. You all have previously approved everything. I just wanted to do it as a whole in case something was overlooked or missed. I presented the last batch of transfers at the last meeting we had, the special meeting, but we couldn't have a motion to approve those because it wasn't on the agenda for the special meeting, so I need a motion to approve. It'll be from 6/28 forward on the
So
Uh-huh.
budget
moved.
transfers.
John made the motion, Stanley second, all in favor?
I also have an interfund cash transfer, and I had done the $6,066.68 into the jail. And that was, I presented that, but we couldn't take action on it. And then I also, as I was doing my reconciliation, went ahead and moved $13,036.94, which is our mineral money, into the jail. I need approval on that.
Is that for fiscal year 16-17? Okay.
Any discussion on that?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Made it, John second, and all in favor, say aye.
And then we have budget amendment number 1 of the new fiscal year for $4,000 or $4,035 even. It is the insurance on the sheriff's vehicle. We got where they had a vehicle totaled out. We got the check in, so we need to amend it so we can send it back out. I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Stanley made it. Here second, Stanley second, all in favor?
Yeah. And that's all I have.
Okay. I guess we're ready then for our new business. John, we'll turn the floor over to you. We're glad to have you with us even though it's hot.
I'll try to keep it short, though.
Good, good.
I think everyone knows who I am. I'm John. I'm the 911 director for Morgan County. I've not had the opportunity to come up and address this particular fiscal court. Been a long time since I needed to come up here. But recently I was out doing an address and come across the road that the road name had got changed. And that's yours. You have the authority to do that, change road names all the time. And it's not a problem, but I need to know about it if you do it. What happens is, and I'll go ahead and tell you which road I'm talking about, it's Hot Mix Road. I was asked to come down and do an address for another place on that road. And I got down there, the Sam, and I'm sorry, I forgot what the name of the road was. It's something Rigsby, I think.
Had to be Stanley Rick.
I
Sure wasn't
think
Stanley,
it's your
John?
precinct, so I'm going to pick on you on this one.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you sure it wasn't Stanley?
Pardon?
Are you sure it wasn't Stanley?
I don't think it was Stanley. It's something else. I actually took a picture of it, but then I couldn't find my picture when I started up here tonight. So, but what happens is we entered into an interlocal agreement many moons ago with the city of West Liberty, fiscal court did, for us to maintain the 911 addressing and mapping and provide 911 service. And these people have had that address, Hot Mix Road, for a number of years, and it's in our system as Hot Mix Road. If they want to call 911, it'll come up on our screen, it'll give us their address, and we actually have directions built into that that tells us how to get to Hot Mix Road. The problem is, at 3 o'clock in the morning, someone's had a heart attack, and the ambulance driver is from out of town, and they're going down through there looking for Hot Mix Road, and they see Rigsby Road. they pass it up. That delays response. So I guess I'm here tonight just basically to, what we have done all these years is we've just worked back and forth. Different ones in the judge's office have been great to work with, and we kept everything up to date. This one kind of got through the cracks on us some way or another, and I understand when I called up here about it, apparently they renamed it about a year ago. Josh Farrell from the Area Development District, he actually keeps the official record of the road names from Morton County and West Liberty, and I just wasn't aware that this road had changed. So we've got a choice now to make. We can leave it Rigsby Road, and we can inform these people to change their addresses to Rigsby Road. These 3 residents, I think, that has addresses on that road, we would have to notify them. It wouldn't change their number, but it would change the address, their mailing address. Post office uses these addresses, banks use them, the phone company. If we don't do that, they can have a different 911 address than they do for a mailing address. And post office will recognize the different mailing address than what the 911 address is. But the problem with that is it goes back to the system. They get a change in their phone line, it comes back, it gets back into the 911 system, it's Hot Mix Road, and we go back to the same problem again. The ambulance responds, they go to the wrong road because the name don't match the information we have on our system. So I'm actually going to
What's
ask.
the easiest thing you all do, John?
The easiest thing.
Leave it like it is?
The easiest thing, and probably what will satisfy the people that live on this road is change it back to Hot Mix Road. Because if you don't,
What if we put parentheses down underneath that, formerly Hot Mix Road, underneath the Billy Rigby sign? Would that explain it good enough to the 911 people?
if that sign's always there,
Well, that's
that's the
a
other
good change
issue.
it would be.
That's the other issues.
yeah.
We have a lot of roads that don't have signs on it, which causes problems with we have a database in front of us, our dispatch. We can give them specific directions. But when they're out there in the middle of the night looking for an address and they can't see that road name or that address number, it's a little bit harder to find sometimes. So the one or two things, in my opinion, needs to happen is we change it back to Hot Mix Road, or we notify those people and change their addresses to the Barry Rigsby? Billy Rigsby. I knew it had a B in it. Billy, we can change our address to Billy Rigsby Road. In the past, I know what it is to get people to change their addresses. People don't want to do that. It causes a lot of confusion for them. They have to contact everyone that they correspond with, and it's a major headache for them to change their address. I do what you all told me to do. I work for the fiscal court as far as addressing and mapping goes. We have an interlocal agreement with the city, and I work for them, but I work for fiscal court, and whatever you all tell me to do is what I will do. I have no problem with either way.
Well, I apologize to you for not maybe knowing the route to take in order to get this implemented.
Well, what I would like for us to try to do in the future, because I'm getting a little bit older, I'm not going to be around forever either.
Really?
I've been doing this for 28 years, and I'm not going to be here forever. I'd like for us to come up with some type of addressing and mapping ordinance passed by the county, and that way you get the area development district involved in that ordinance, and you get a process for how we do it. Over the years, like I said, we've worked real close together, and I call her and say, hey, we need to name this road this or that. We've got some roads that we need to name right now. I don't know if you all have even talked about it yet or not, but like on 172, where they realigned the road, we've got those little loops and things. Whenever that gets turned back over to the county, I assume the county will take them over, and we need to give those names. I've actually got some names I've already addressed them. I'm not presenting them to no one yet because they're not finished yet, but whenever we get ready to start working on that, we need to get on the same page and make sure that there'll be very few address changes up there, but there will be a few. once we rename the roads and get those loops.
Going forward, we'll try to do a better job, John, keep you informed of what's going on.
If there's just 3 people that lives on there, I think we've already changed the road name. Let's just contact them people and get them to change their address.
Yeah,
That's all. That wouldn't be that big a deal, I don't think. We've already changed the road, you know. Number, you know.
It's got the signs up already, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, it does. So,
I wonder if that's the only one that this is affected.
That's the only road you got named there for your state.
Well, it seems like there's been a change in another road or two in the last couple of years.
What about Davis Road up the railroad? Did you get that straightened out or?
I don't recall what the issue was up there.
Well, for now, let's go with this one right here, and then we'll go through the system, see what all has been changed and all the questions that we have for you and you have for us, and we'll try to get things straight.
I will contact these people and tell them that their address needs to change.
Okay?
Of course, I'll refer them back to you all.
And you can blame the fiscal court
It's,
for having it done,
correct.
and we'll take the blame.
And that's what we've done before, is, I mean, in the past, when there's been an issue, in order to make sure we have a good emergency response directions and all that, we've made some changes over the years, and eventually they'll get worked into the system.
Yeah.
We may ought to look at the fiscal court minutes for the last couple of years.
Pardon?
I said, might ought to look at the fiscal court
Yeah.
minutes for the last couple of years and see if there's been any
I think we're pretty good up to about last year,
last year.
because I worked real close with Josh.
Okay.
So I think we're probably okay.
And I've always worked close with Josh also, and it just, we just always found them before we had the issue. But going forward, just keep in mind, if you change the road, you're changing people's addresses.
Yeah.
There is another issue that I got a call about this past week from over in Maytown. It's not actually changing the road name, it's going to change the community name. Campton Post Office is going to be serving 2027. It's no longer going to be served out of Hazel Green, so they're going to change the community name, which won't affect the address itself, but you know, the community name I have to change out. And that doesn't really affect you all, or it's a postal service thing. So,
Did you say Hot Mix Road is called now
Billy D. Rigsby Road.
Billy D. Rigsby?
Yep. Yeah, he was killed in the service.
so unless y'all got some more questions for me about 911 and how it works, I'll be glad to answer questions if you have them.
We appreciate your effort, John.
No problem.
Sure.
I still enjoy doing it right now.
Phone starts ringing, send us away.
There you go.
Thank you.
Excuse me for not staying.
Ms. Ferguson, are you in the crowd? Okay, come ahead and state your business.
Are y'all
Please,
good
this
now?
door's open, might have a little earthly here.
I think it's warmer out
Haven't
there.
got no
We
fan
already-
nowhere.
Now, for y'all that don't know me, I'm Bessie Ferguson. I want to give him the big packet.
Props you on.
And I live at Crockett. I've been there all of my life. And I thought I had enough for everyone.
I'm not a voting member.
That way you can look over it also. I work for Woodman Life. We actually have an office here, but I work out of my home at Crockett. He just walked out, didn't he? But what we want to do is be able to help you guys. If you don't know, we gave $35,000, I think, for the soccer field. We've been trying to help the schools by getting new scoreboards and things like that. But we offer a variety of products that you guys could hopefully retain and help your employees. I worked for the Judge Executive's office for years in Elliott County, and I quit because they had no benefits. We had absolutely nothing. My income put us over the guidelines for any type of help. So therefore, when my daughter broke her arm, I made her sick for 3 days before I took her to the doctor because I didn't know it was broke. We went to the doctor, they said it's broke, so we got it fixed. But then I quit my job and took another job so I could help people like myself. With Woodman Life, we would be able to come in and offer at you guys no cost and at little cost to your employees all kinds of insurance. We do annuities, life insurance, major medical, disability, long-term care, supplemental. We basically do it all, including retirement plans. We would really like the opportunity to work with you guys. We have a $25,000 first responder benefit that if anyone is a firefighter and they get killed in the line of duty, police, anything like that, killed in the line of duty, they get an additional $25,000. There's just so many things that we can help the county with and provide for you guys that would help you retain your employees, make it more beneficial whenever you're out here looking for good employees. I know if you guys are like most counties, you probably keep the guys that have been there forever. We always did. We had, some guys have been there 25 years and they're still there without anything at all. But there comes a time when people need to think about their retirements. You probably have deferred comp. I had deferred comp. We can do other things besides deferred comp. There's several different programs that we can come in and help you with. And we're here in town. We're local. And I've been, all my life. There's a few years I took a splurge and ran away, but I've been here forever, and I know the office has been in town for as long as I've been alive. I do work out of my home, but I still yet can meet anyone at the office. But what we'd like to do is get your all's permission to present this to your employees, get a listing of them, so we could contact them, see if you guys would be all right with it, if we could do a simple payroll deduction. I'm not sure how you guys do your payroll here, but payroll deductions were generally pretty easy when I wrote the checks at the other county. So we sent one bill out, you make one payment, everybody's paid, they don't have anything to worry about. We can actually, depending on the type of service that the person wanted, we could even go in and take care of their family. Like you could say, hey, guess what? We now offer major medical. If they didn't want to take it, that would be fine. But it would just give them the opportunity to not be in the shoes that I was in, going, well, where's $3,000 because she just broke her arm. So I really hope that you guys can look over this information. I did give Mr. Franklin the packet that has the SCP and Simples in it, which is the retirement plans. And look over it, let us know, keep our phone numbers. If you can't get a hold of me, contact Michelle down at the office. But if you call, leave a message. That's one thing that we're having problems with. We're not getting the messages back. But if you guys would, we would appreciate, being able to come in and talk with your workers, the road crew, whatever you guys want. Who all do you do payroll for as the fiscal court?
We just do the county employees. We don't do the clerk and the sheriff on that, but they do all their self-pay insurances. I do. They cut their own checks. They pay me the reimbursement, and I still pay them. I just don't actually prepare their payroll, but I do everybody else.
Okay. And so therefore you have the road crews, 911, or is that separate?
It's just the office, our office, and the road.
Okay. So if that would be a possibility, keep us in mind, and I'll probably contact your office within the next few weeks and see if we could come back and maybe do something else.
We'll talk to the employees and see what to say, and we thank you for your interest in us.
Thank you. Well, like I said, the county means a lot to us, and had there been insurance where I was at prior, I would probably still be there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. I'm going to leave.
We'll talk to the road crew about it and see if they want to listen to it. We'll have her come back and thank them. As for the next topic there, the bid opening on the blacktop ceiling, there was a little bit of misunderstanding on that, and we need to run that thing again. We had thought that we would just get an estimate and we'd award it to somebody, but the last meeting we had, we said we didn't want to have a bid on it. So that's what we need to do. So the two that has already contacted us, we'll tell them that we're going to bid it again, and it'll be republished in the paper again. We'll give everybody a chance. All right, the lease agreement with the Gateway, they got approval of renting our property here for the Head Start. They were in here today taking measurements and so forth to see about remodeling, to redo it, to fit whatever they need to, whatever they need to do to it. So that, I guess there's a copy of that in our packet here tonight, I think, everybody got one, and we were to receive $1,200 a month for the rent of the basement. That's what it says now, I think, $1,200 a month. I don't know what all have to be done, but I'm sure there'd have to be some adjustments made to come up with the standards that they want for young kids, you know. So, I think we already passed this once, didn't we? Did we talk about this one?
We talked about it, we didn't pass.
There was only
You
got a
need
few issues
approval
or
to sign
something.
the contract on that.
Pardon?
Approval to sign the contract.
Okay.
Miles was supposed to be.
We had talked about it and we did the contract and we agreed on the terms, and this is the fruits of that labor, so now you just need to vote on it again.
Okay.
We agreed on it once you all got the terms worked out.
We had a question
But he has
about
to
the
have a
church
approval.
leasing it out
Authorize Judge
for
Executive to sign.
one weekend here, for 1 week.
Yeah,
Remember
well, they
something
worked
about-
that out.
Did they
It
work
was,
that? That was one of the,
Burning Springs Association wanted it for the weekend, third weekend in August, and they worked it out and got them another location.
that was one of the questions we had.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do I
We had
hear?
that basement cleaned, right?
Pardon?
We had it cleaned up, the basement and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was, good shape. That, the window's broken out that I wasn't aware of. Is anybody aware that that window was broken? I don't know whether somebody threw a rock to it or whether his lawnmower hit a rock and hit it, but anyway, it's double pane and broke the outside pane. So we'll have to have that fixed, I guess, or they can fix it and bill us for it.
The stuff we got down there now, they're gonna move it
We're gonna
into,
move it down to the wellness center, the chairs and tables, and that'll relieve them down there of not having a lot of it, and it'll help the situation there.
One of the questions that Robin wanted to know was the appliances, the refrigerator and the microwaves. We bought that with ADF money. That was one of her questions. Do we keep that or do we let them have it?
have we got a place for it down to the other place? They would better take it. They probably got their own stuff anyway.
I'd say so, and it'll have to be, meet certain standards to, you know, for children, I'm sure. Or would that need to be added to this contract, Miles?
No, if it's movable, it's not, there's nothing in here. Basically, they just get the use of the inside of the walls. That was part of the contract. You don't want people to say that they're leasing everything, because then they get to make decisions. The actual lease, I had it changed to they're leasing the use of the space. So, if we want to take stuff out of that space, they can't really say anything about it.
And if we say they use the stuff, if something happens to it, the refrigerators and stuff like that, we would be responsible for fixing them.
Yeah. Plus, it has value. Let's move it somewhere where the county can get value from it.
And I'm sure they can use it down there. Any more discussion? If not, does somebody entertain the motion that we enter this agreement?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. Then not everybody's in favor of it.
Yeah.
And, if there's nobody against it, then they come, you don't know, can they? All right. The water department would like to do something on the other end of this lot out here, of our parking lot. And either, I guess, sell it to the fiscal court to use for more parking. We have run into a little bit of a problem about the business across the street. They don't, I don't know whether they don't have enough parking for their employees, but if somebody runs in here that's gonna be in here 15 minutes, they need to go back out and be able to get on out. It's been a little bit of a problem. But I think I talked to the highway department about cutting another hole in the curb out there to let us out. They've not gotten back to me yet to tell me whether they will or will not. And I think there's a street light pedestal right in the middle of that lot down there that's something that to be either taken down lower and covered over, or they put the light up in it. But does anybody want to talk to the district about, the water district about purchasing the lot or leasing the lot from them? I think it's the way they feel about it, they want to sell it. I don't know how big it is, it's not too big. There could be some more fill put on the back side of it, fill out on toward this parking lot and make some more parking.
Every guy knows what they want for it.
No, I don't.
How much is left there? 'Cause the state bought part of that when they
Yeah.
redone the road. How much is left there?
Not very much. Not very much.
That's gonna be a lot of it. How much?
Be more of value to us than it would be anybody else, you know. Would we want to have somebody look at it and appraise it, see what?
We need the parking.
We need the parking,
We can
sure.
put a way into it. I mean, if it's gonna be kind of aggravating if they want to cut
Yeah,
it.
the curb is that high, you know, low, the new cars are low and they drive on it.
Before they done all that, I mean, you
may be on
a real place to park.
Yeah,
And if it's a curve through there, you can't get in there.
Yeah.
And then if you come in and go down there, and then you get locked in, you can't get out, you know? But, yeah, I think it'd be a good idea, you know, see what they want for it.
All right,
It would only benefit us.
that's right, that's what I say.
You couldn't,
See how much is left,
Yeah, see how much land's even left there.
because
if there is.
we don't even own the parking lot here. Or you all don't.
No,
Okay?
All you'd have is a few parking spaces with a parking lot between it.
well, I think, first thing I'll find out is if they'll let us cut a hole in to make an inlet out, you know, from the highway department. I don't know, they didn't talk very favorably. But we'll see what they say. So I'll go from there and then we'll, maybe, see about getting it appraised and see if they'll be satisfied with the appraisal on it. Go from there. There's not, the water department hasn't said anything else about the equipment, the truck and the trailer and the backhoe that we want to purchase from. We agreed on the price, but that's been the end of it. I guess we've been using probably right on the same, but they probably need to get their money out of it. Okay, I'll contact the highway department about that. All right, item number 6. I don't know, what is it that has to do with the emergency?
That's that EDS settlement.
Okay, yeah,
The
yeah.
100,000.
Yeah. Development London, or whatever
When
name
we
it
get
is.
it in one day late.
Yeah.
Just need authorization to pay it.
All right, we need to have to
Need
have
a
a motion.
motion?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Get that out of there.
Sooner the better.
Yeah.
Anthony's made it, I hear a second.
Unless we want to go back and take them to court. Try to win.
That's gonna cost us either way.
Agreement's in place, but you're gonna pay it.
How much is this payment for?
100,000.
That was the agreement, I understand, wasn't when it was made. I mean, when we
Settlement.
worked out the settlement with him. Do I hear a second to Anthony's motion? If we've agreed to do it, I suggest that we go ahead and do it and not have any more holdups or stops than what we've agreed to do.
What's the penalty if we break the agreement?
No, it's no longer about our case. It's not about going back and let's try something. Now it's about you sign this agreement, this is what we get. When you go back on it, you can add another $250,000 in attorney's fees. That's what this buys us if we don't pay it. And it gets us nowhere because the court is going to enforce an agreement where the whole fiscal court voted on and we signed it. This isn't that he said, she said. This isn't how much something's worth. This is we signed an agreement and now we have to abide by it.
Do we have the money needed?
Yes, it's budgeted money.
I'll take it.
Motion's been made by Anthony and second by Stanley. All in favor? Aye.
All opposed?
All opposed?
Nay.
Hey, didn't agree with it before, don't agree with it now.
2 nays.
Motion still passes.
2 nays and 3 ayes.
Yeah. Motion carried.
Okay, the spending limit. Lindsay, you want to talk about that?
Yes, right now, for us to issue a purchase order, anything over 250, we send out emails asking approval and everything. I'd like to raise the limit. It would just take a lot of work out of just, getting approval on little things, the supplies, buying a vacuum for the judicial center, little things that we shouldn't, we don't need to really ask on. I feel, financially we're doing good, and I feel like I always check, we always check before we issue a purchase order on anything, and I would like to raise that above the 250.
How much?
Well, I would like it to be at least 1,000.
I'll make that motion.
Enzel's made it. Is there a second?
Second.
Stanley second. All in favor?
Aye.
Who's second?
Second.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody gonna make this smart.
That's Miss Lindsay.
Carry on, Lindsay.
All right. This Smart Procure is, it's a company. They work with all different kinds of government agencies. They basically have a database. Anything, if anybody has a license with them, anything they purchase, they enter into their system, whether it's a printer, supplies, whatever they purchase, they put all of their purchases in the system. So then, if you license with them, you can go in and search what you're buying, and you will get every option where everybody else has bought it and what they paid for it. So you can get the best deal all over the United States. It's pretty big. To get a license is $2,000 annually, and it's on a 3-year agreement. So you're agreeing to do that, pay that $2,000 for the next 3 years. They have a buy one get one free thing right now. So if we wanted, like the sheriff to be in, or if the clerk wanted to use it, we could split that and do it that way. They run me through with it, and in my honest opinion, if we were bigger and we had, much bigger spending than we do purchasing, then it would be great. I don't think for what it costs, our savings would be what it costs us to participate in the, in the program. But I have been asked if I would reach out and present it to the fiscal court, and I presented. It's y'all's decision on it.
Is that the lowest that they'll,
Do what?
there's no bargain with them or trying to?
No, I don't think so, no. Like I said, right now, they sent me an email right before the meeting saying right now they're doing a deal in the month of July. If we signed on, we could get 2 licenses for the $2,000, which means we could use it along with like the clerk or the sheriff or, what have you. They could also.
Sheriff can't afford anything, and we never buy anything.
It's really not for us.
That is $2,000 a year.
It's $2,000 a year, and it would save us money, but it'll cost more than it would save us in the long run because we don't buy enough. We don't have enough of a purchasing.
And if you do it, you're agreeing to pay that $2,000 for 3 years in a row.
You can't just.
Tell them we couldn't afford to save that much.
Doesn't DLG or NACO have something like this that we could go through? Have you checked with DLG?
Not that I'm aware of. They don't have any kind of
NACO,
program like that.
have you checked with NACO?
No.
We're a member.
They reached out to me. This isn't anybody that I went looking for or anything. They just reached out trying to sell their product. It's a website on the internet basically, and you get on and you can search for things, and Google does the same thing.
Exactly.
Google or NACO, I think.
I'm good at Google.
NACO has something like that.
So.
That we're a member that we could use.
Yeah.
This has been a big deal 10 or 15 years ago, but now,
Yeah.
in a matter of a minute or so, you can
And if you have a
Prices.
huge purchasing department, you know, something like that could be beneficial to have, or, you know, specialized, but, you know, it's not anything big. We could do like with DLG, do like the reverse auctions like they do. I mean, we have options and it doesn't cost us money, you know.
Just tell them we thank them for their interest in us, and for now, we'll just let it go like
I
this.
did what I was honest. I told them I'd present it and I presented it.
Thank you, Lynn, for your presentation. Okay, do you want to talk anything about the agreement between us and Menifee County?
We, was at the last meeting, we talked about
Okay.
how they, they wanted to bill us for the roads that they are going to be, as work is done, they're going to be billing us for their hours and supplies, what they put into it. They sent us another copy of the interlocal agreement, which it has been amended from the first copy, and it needs to be reviewed by Miles before it's signed and followed through. The more that I've got to dig in with these roads, on the very back of the agreement, there is a list of roads, and I went through and put beside them some of the roads, like in the first agreement, they got the tax revenue on them. They also get county road aid on those roads. They're listed if they get county road aid and tax revenue. There are some roads that they only get the tax revenue that we turned over. A couple roads that they sent were actually private roads or did not cross up to Morgan County. There was only 6 billable roads that they presented to us. And I just want the agreement to be clear on that's what we would be, because they're already getting money for the other roads. It needs to specify that they can't bill us for what they're getting the tax revenue and the road aid for. And, you know, if there's reason that it's not billable on our end, it just needs to be a little more specific.
Either or both.
Yeah.
Do you know how much they get for what?
I have no
Taxable
clue.
one?
I have no clue. I think a big part of the issue is a lot of places out there have just kind of been abandoned. You've got a lot of cabins that were being used for rentals and stuff, and that kind of died down a little bit, and their revenue might have slacked off on that somewhat. There was 2 roads, they were actually private roads that were on their current list that they maintained. And there was on the, I want to say it was 8 roads that they presented to be added into this agreement. It was less than 10 miles of roads. And only 6 of those are actual billable roads. So that was all I had to say about it. I just think when he reviews that, it needs to be specified, because I don't think it would be right for them to get the tax revenue and then turn around and bill us for the hours of the work they're putting into it. And I'm not saying they would, but for our protection, it needs to specify one way or the other.
Mr. Miles, you want to look into it a little further before we take a vote on it?
Yeah, I'm gonna need Lynn B too, you know. I deal in law, I deal in legal stuff, I don't deal in the facts. I'm gonna need a facts person to tell me where the stuff's at, whether it's, you know, and this is a good list here. I mean, that's a start. But if we're gonna redo the whole agreement, then I need somebody that knows to the 10th of a mile, whatever road, on all these roads.
They're getting tax revenue or not?
Yeah, like, as I said, if they're getting money to do private roads that shouldn't be getting done, that's a problem in and of itself. So I think we're just gonna have to take a look at it again. But again, I'm the legal guy. I need somebody that knows all these roads. So
I will say everything that I went through with this, I got on the Kentucky Department of Transportation website, went through their county road aid maps. You can put in the county. That's how I narrowed it down. You can put in the county and the road name, and it'll tell you the exact mileage. It'll show you where it's at on a map. It tells you what county gets the road aid money for it. It's very detailed, very useful for a lot that we do. And I did use that, and I did verify with Craig Linden if, like, these roads, some of these roads are actually our roads. Most of them cross and run into Menifee and Morgan. Some of them would stop at the line, and so our portion would come up under Morgan their portion comes up under Menifee, but then there were some roads that come up under Menifee and crossed into Morgan. So that means and I verified it with Craig, that means that if it shows on their end, even on the crossover, they are getting the road aid. It's calculated into their mileage. So, and I did mark, and that is what I used to verify that certain roads were private roads and whatnot. It was going by that.
So on your list, there's only 6
That was a big-
that's really billable, that's correct?
From what I found, yes,
Okay.
unless there was, like the Cove Run and Deer Run, unless there was something else that didn't come up on the roads map that I couldn't find, it didn't show them even crossing into Morgan County. So they could have had it mixed up with a different name, or it, it could have come up from a man, but those were 2 that, and then Brown's Run. And Brandon might know a little more of those roads. I'm not familiar with the area. I just went by the website. I just went by the county road aid map, pulling them up.
Well, we need to look into it a little further then.
I think so, before we sign the agreement. That was all that I had to say about it.
Okay. I guess the next thing's, Anthony's the Well Station Road, you're gonna say
Well,
something.
that's
about it?
just a FYI. There is a drilling rig that they're going to take up that road. They had their engineers to check the bridge out, and they're almost certain that the bridge can handle it. But they told me to let the court know that if something happened to the bridge, that they would be willing to fix it. It's a Walter Bloxham, I think, out of Lexington.
Is that having to do with the coal mines back there?
Coal mine, that's where they're going to be drilling.
Well, having to contact our county attorney and get...
I've done some legal research on this before when
Okay.
Denzel had asked me about a road in his district, and there is statute out there where they can pay a bond, and then they have to basically, when they leave, it has to be the same or better road than what they got there, when it was originally done when they got there. But we could possibly look into something like that. I think I talked to Mr. Ornstein in Frankfurt about that same issue. So there is a mechanism, and even statutes that say they do have to put the road back to where it should be.
So does he need to contact you? I can talk to
Yeah,
him
he can
tonight.
contact me and we'll contact Miles and find out what's what on it. Continue on then. Anthony.
Well, the senior citizens are having a hard time with their meals. And, I agreed to bring this in front of the court, asking for maybe $500 to help them out. I mean, it's a good organization. They work hard. So I'd be willing to make the motion that we give them a $500 check
Who exactly would that be to?
to senior citizens.
Warren County Senior Citizens.
We used to do that all the time.
We did
Used to
that
give more than that,
automatically.
they did better than
We used to give them
that.
$1,000.
It's a good program.
We should do it every year.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Well, before we do this, do we want to raise the amount
To
any
$1,000.
more than that?
Yeah, let's give
I'd be
them
willing to make a
1,000.
motion for 1,000.
Yeah, let's give them
I
1,000.
think second, we can at least afford that much
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And it is a good thing.
It is.
All right, the motion's been made with Anthony, here second, you second it, Sam. All in favor?
Aye. And then that last
Senior citizens, $1,000. Okay,
with the election workers, they're wondering if they could get a $10 raise per election. I don't know what that would entail.
what do you got to say about
When
that?
we talked about that 5 or 6 years ago, and since I've been in, there's been 2 raises. And I think they're at $105 now, $25 for election school, and then $10 for the judges that bring the equipment back in on election night and results. When I checked on it initially, several years ago, we weren't the lowest paid county, but pretty low. At the counties that I checked with at that time, Round County, 6 or 7 years ago, was paying then what we're paying now.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
For how much, boy?
$10 for election day.
Sounds good.
Okay, Anthony, you made the motion?
No,
Stanley made the
I
motion?
second.
Anthony second, all in favor? Aye.
That's
Wonder if we can get the people that serve on the lake, the jury a little more too already.
Are you on the jury? Someone complained the other day.
What would change
they
would
were
be
on
what they were getting at 105
Just election
would
day.
change to
Yeah.
115.
The other pays for school,
Right.
whether it's the one they attend here or
In the
makeup.
motion, read that way, that the 105 would change to 115.
Is that okay?
It sounds good.
Oh, well, is there,
Or we could specify election day, that's what I was gonna put in there.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, you give me a list.
Yeah.
I get the list.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, if somebody wants to talk about this grant that the animal shelter is applying for,
There's a spay neuter grant Kathy brought in just before closing today. I believe the grant was for 10,000 with a match of up to 1,000. I think, I didn't read through it. But anyway, it would either be 500 or 1,000 match from the county to get this grant.
I'll make that motion if that's all it costs the county and they get that much money.
Second.
all right.
And then there was another one.
And I'm not sure of the details on it, but she was wanting to apply for, if we can get everything together in time. It's really rushed. And it was for like structure improvement of the shelter, stuff like that. It couldn't go towards like payroll and stuff like that, or spay and neuter, but it could go towards like maintenance, upkeep, improvement type things. And we might not be able to get it together in time to apply for it, but I would like if we could get permission to apply for it if we can get it together. And I think it was probably a match along the same lines, and I think it was up to 1,000, but I'm not 100% on that.
Let's put that on the same motion.
So can we just motion to approve the matching grants for the animal shelter,
Yeah.
for spay and neuter programs and facilities improvement?
Those old cages over there are in bad shape. Have him or her husband go in there and work on them like you have, we've had it done away with them a long time before now. They do need a lot of attention.
Okay, John made that and didn't second it.
Yeah, all in favor? We need to have a closed session to discuss employee.
Motion to go in. I'll make a motion to go in.
Okay.
Section.
Back in session, we need to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to go back in session.
All right, second.
Okay, hold it.
John made it, Stanley seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, you gonna present the motion, Mr. Anthony, you took the notes.
Okay, first motion was to switch Hubie Wright from part-time work to full-time work as a custodian at the office building.
All
I
right.
need to have someone make a
Do you hear
motion
to
to.
that effect?
So move.
All right, second?
Second.
All right. John made it, Stanley seconded, all in favor?
And then a motion to change TJ Ferguson from part-time to full-time work at the animal shelter.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
You
Second.
made it, do I hear a second?
Second.
Daniel second, all in
Yes,
favor?
All in favor?
When does these motions take effect? Starting, they go full-time tomorrow? Do we need to have that in our motions, what I'm asking?
Yeah, it does, you're right, it does need to.
Probably.
The next
Next payday, is that?
pay period, when's that?
How about just do it August 1?
That would start Monday.
No, that would be,
We need to go along with whatever
With the pay
pay
period.
action
So
says.
starting on Monday.
This coming Monday?
Whatever that date is, then, that's
so
fine
that
with my
is
motion.
17.
Okay.
Both of them?
Yeah. All right, John, you made the motion?
Denzel made it on the last one, and I think you're
I
still
made the
second.
motion for TJ and seconded by
Somebody did.
Denzel.
Okay.
John made and Stanley for Hubie.
All in favor? Aye. Anything else we need to talk about besides our
Motion to pay bill.
Yeah. Need a motion to that effect?
You've got two vendor claims. One is the July 17, and then you've got the July 17 miscellaneous, the first batch.
Okay. Do I hear a motion we do that?
I'll make a motion.
Anthony made it. Second?
Second.
All right.
Whoever.
John and Stanley both second. All in favor? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Second?
Second.
John.
All in favor?
Aye.
We hope to do better the next time and have a little cooler in here, hopefully.